Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 3 of The Clorox Show with your host, King Clorox. This nose strip helps your boy breathe. Why? Because God decided to go, hey, I'm only going to let one of his nostrils work, and on the other side, we're just going to cave in part of his nose and have it cover 90% so that he can at least still get 10% of oxygen through one of his nostrils just to keep his life interesting. We got to keep him on his toes. That way, so, he can have perspective. He'll get migraines. He'll wake up in the middle of the night not being able to breathe, like you just got pulled out of a pool because you can't swim and somebody grabbed you, but they didn't know that you were drowning for at least a minute. And then you wake up and you go, wow, I thought I was dying. And it gives a little bit of perspective because, life could be a lot better. I assume if you could breathe through both of your nostrils, but having a nose strip, it helps out a lot. And I didn't even know that was a thing. So now if I don't wear a nose strip, I'll wake up, in the middle of the night or in the morning, and my mouth will be as dry as what I can imagine my grandma's vagina is like. And I feel like Jesus in the desert, just dry as shit. And that wasn't necessarily how I wanted to start this episode, but that's how it started. And so we're here, and I'm able to breathe a little bit better. And, God bless America, right? So, what happened yesterday? I wasn't going to record this podcast because I recorded one yesterday. Who gives a shit? I'm recording it now because something happened yesterday. I don't know if you can see that American flag behind me, but that means I'm a goddamn patriot. And as a patriot, I own a pistol. I own a firearm. Or at least, so I used to. So yesterday, I decide to take my car to Breakmasters. And I have a gun, not because I'm a gun-toting, yeehaw motherfucker. I have a gun because anything can happen at any point. And I never touch it. It's always in my car. I don't even put the cartridge in my gun. It just sits there in my car in the center console, and I never fucking touch it. I haven't even taken it out of the car since like the first day that I bought it. So it's always fucking there. 2 days ago, I went to the gym. I was there in the morning. I was sitting in the dark parking lot, and I was like, you know what? It's pretty fucking crazy. I have a gun. And I looked at it, and I looked at my gun, and I went, I have a gun. That's crazy. And then yesterday, my gun is always there. I take my fucking gun to Breakmasters in my car. Not, well, the way that I said that, I sound like I went. Anyway, so I pull up to Breakmasters. My mom follows me to Breakmasters because it's like, I'm going to leave my car there. I need a ride to work. My mom's going to give me a ride to work. So I'm in my car. And before I get out of my car to go to the front desk and then go to my mom, I think to myself, well, I have my gun in my car. Now I have two options. I can either A, take my gun out of my car, walk across the parking lot with my gun in my hand, and then take to my mom's car and have her have my gun all day long in her car. Or I can go, it's in the center console. Nothing's gonna happen to the gun, right? So you'd think. So of course, you can guess where this story's going. I drop off my car at 7:30. They call me at around 1 and go, sir, your car's ready. The car's good. There's no problems, whatever. I go, cool. My coworker takes me to Breakmasters. He leaves. I go to the front desk. I'm like, everything good? Do I owe any money? Oh, no, sir, you don't owe any money. Everything's good. And then I go back to my car. And because I'm a fucking responsible adult, or at least so I thought, I go in my car. And before I even turn on the fucking car, you go, let me just make sure my gun is still in the car. So what do? I think, imagine it wasn't in the car anymore. I open the center console, and spoiler fucking alert, right? As everyone saw this coming, the gun is gone. The gun is fucking gone. And I think to myself, I probably just didn't look good enough. And so I look again, and then I realize, what am I talking about? It's a fucking gun. It's always in the same spot all the fucking time. And I look in there, I shuffle the shit around, already knowing it's gone. But I'm shuffling around like a fucking moron. And then I think to myself, okay, now before we jump to any conclusions, maybe one of these guys found the gun in the car, and for whatever fucking reason in my stupid brain, I go, maybe they put it somewhere else in the car. Maybe they put it in the glove box. Why? I don't know. You work at Brake Masters. I guess not that there's anything wrong with that, but also the guys in the garage look like criminals. So, of course, I don't know. I look around the car. I bend over fucking backwards like a fucking acrobat. I look under all the seats. I open the glove box. I look every fucking place you can imagine, thinking, who knows what I'm thinking? I'm thinking, before I go in there and say, hey, by the way, my gun is gone, I would like to, give them the benefit of the doubt and look around a little bit before I go in there, guns ablazing, no pun intended, and, tell them, hey, what the fuck, right? And so I'm looking around my car, and there's not a gun in sight. And then I think to myself, another spot check. I go, let me really think about this for a second, because I'm about to go into Brake Masters and tell these guys, hey, my gun was in my car when I first got here. Now that I'm here and hours have gone by, my gun is missing. Care to help your boy understand? And so I think to myself, right? Did I take it out of the car? No, I never fucking touch it. Could anybody else have been in my car recently? No, nobody's been in my car recently. When was the last time I saw it? A few days ago. Okay, well, logic would have it, these motherfuckers took my gun. And so I think to myself, well, shit fire. I have to fucking go in there now, and I don't have a plan. So I walk in there, and I walk up to the front desk to the guy who's the assistant manager, who's the guy that's been helping me. Nice guy, right? I walk in there, I'm like, hey, dude. He's like, hey. I'm like, yeah. Here's the thing. I had a gun in my car, and it's not there anymore. And he's basically like, that's crazy, bro. I'm like, yeah. And then he starts telling me, well, hey, man, I didn't really work on your car. I just went in there and I grabbed this socket thing and I put it on the center console and I didn't touch anything else. I'm like, yeah, dude. I saw the fucking thing. I went in there. I saw the little knob to the tire. That's not what I want to talk about right now, is the fucking thing that you used to take off my tire. I want to talk about the fact that my firearm is no longer in my car. And he goes, well, I don't know anything about that. I go, okay, dude. Well, you're not helping, because you should go, maybe I should go ask the guys that are fucking back there listening to rap on speakers that are dog shit and it sounds like, and you can't even understand the words because these guys aren't scholars. And I'm not saying that, again, there's anything wrong with working there, but also I think if you listen to music so loud on speakers that clearly can't handle it, and it sounds like you're listening to music coming from the inside of a popcorn bag while it's being cooked in the microwave, your brain isn't working so good. And so I tell the guy, like, I should fucking have to help this conversation go on. I go, guy, um, is there any chance that possibly maybe one of your guys, uh, possibly took it? And he goes, my guys wouldn't do that. And of course, my first thought is, really? Are you willing to stake your fucking life on that? You know these guys that well? Dude, my guys, my employees, they would never do such a thing. All right, bro. So then, I didn't plan past that moment. I kind of just went to my car after that. And then I thought to myself, well, I guess I could just leave and now my gun is missing. But then I also thought, wait a second, my gun is missing! I need to find my gun! I don't have a choice here. It's a fucking gun. And God forbid one of these goons uses my gun to murder his girlfriend or whatever it is, right? Because it's registered under my name. It's not like you can just go to a fucking Best Buy and buy a gun and they go, have a good day. No, dude, I had to fucking go in, do a background check, answer a fucking questionnaire about my life and all my accomplishments, basically. And they had to deem me gun worthy. I had to be registered to some fucking national list, sign a bunch of fucking papers. So I realized then, okay, I have to do something. I thought, okay, well, I guess I have to call the police. I don't fucking know. I've never been in a First of all, I've never been robbed. So it's a crazy thing to go from, like, you know, some people get robbed and they get their sunglasses stolen from them, or maybe some headphones. Maybe you lose your AirPods, right? No, my first robbery was getting my gun stolen. And so I had a quick conversation with my dad. I called him and I was like, hey, this is the situation. And he's like, yeah, I don't know what you should do either. But he kind of came to the same conclusion of me as like, well, you probably have to call the police. And I was like, yeah, I probably do. And so he gave me this idea, and this is what I did. I walked back in there, and when I walked back in there, the assistant manager was there, the guy who was like, I didn't touch it, blah, 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 blah. My guys would never do that. He's at his desk at the front, and behind him, sitting in a chair, is another fella. I walk in, and I talk to the assistant manager, and I say, hey, my gun is gone. I didn't misplace it. This was the last place that it was in. If I can't find it, I have to file a police report. And then here comes Mr. Goon Einstein from behind the assistant manager. The assistant manager goes, well, the guy behind me, Goonmaster 4000 over here, is the one who worked on your car. And as I'm talking and saying, hey, well, I'm gonna have to like call the police or something because it's a gun, right? And then this guy behind him, I'm sorry, the guy behind the manager who worked on my car says, why would you leave your gun in your car? First of all, fuck you, right? Because if you worked on my car, or say I worked on your fucking car, And you come to me and you go, hey, brother, my gun is missing and I don't know what to do about it. I would go, damn, bro, that sucks. I worked on your car. I did not see a gun. I promise you. I really hope that it turns up. I'll ask around. Let me ask some of these other guys. I don't know. Maybe someone found it and did it and thought, I don't know. There's a gun in the car. Maybe we should, maybe there's a protocol. Maybe we need to do something about it and secure it. Because I don't know. Any fucking excuse would have worked. But this, sorry, retard was like, don't you think it's kind of like, why would you leave your gun in your car? I told him, hey, dude, yeah, you're right. It was stupid. I shouldn't have left my gun in my car. But hey, motherfucker, we're past that now. My gun is gone. And so I say, after that, he goes, well, he has the audacity to tell me, well, I bet you'd feel kind of dumb if you found it later. Excuse me? I'm like, hey, dude, I don't know if you own a gun or don't own a gun, but if you were to own a gun, you would know where that gun is, like you know where your child is, because it's a gun. It's not a fucking. It's not that I lost my shorts or my fucking socks or a used condom, guy. It is my gun. It is a weapon that can kill people. I know where my fucking gun is, you fucking dipshit. And so I tell the guy, because he's talking this shit, and I said, look, dude, I can sense that he's defensive, even though I haven't even accused the guy. It's not like I was like, hey, motherfucker, you were working on my car. Where's my gun? No. I just stated the facts. I said, my gun was here when I showed up this morning, and now my gun is not. Are you following my logic? And so I have to tell the guy, look, dude, I'm not accusing you. I know you worked on my car. I'm not saying that you stole my gun. First of all, red flag right off the start by how defensive this guy is. And so I say, I don't know, dude. Maybe it could have been, I don't know, anybody else. There are a lot of people back there. You're not the only one. And so I ignore the guy and I start talking to the manager again. And I go, this is what's going to happen. These are my car keys. I'm going to leave my car keys on this table. I'm going to walk across the street to Whataburger, and I'm going to be over there for 10 minutes. I'm going to come back. I'm going to grab my car keys back off of this desk. I'm going to walk to my car, and I'm going to go in there, and I'm going to check if my gun has magically appeared back in my car. And if it does, no questions asked, we're all good. Because the thing is, if my gun is not back in my car, I don't have a choice but to call the police and file a report. And so I do that. I leave my keys. I go to Whataburger. I come back. I grab my keys. And before I walk out, I say, is there any news? I say, my keys are in the same spot. Have my keys left this desk? And the manager goes, no, the keys have been there the whole time. I go, okay. Have a nice day. I walk to my car. I get in my car. And guess what's not in my car? My gun. And so I start up my car. I leave. And I was gonna head back to work. But then I thought, I should probably file a report right now. So the rest of the story is not interesting. Long story short, I call the non-emergency line. I say that I like to report my gun stolen. The lady basically is like, hey, because that just happened, you either have to call 911 and have an officer meet you and write an actual report, or you go to a police station and file a report like that. I say, what? I don't know, lady, you're the one that does this. What do you recommend? She goes, I would just go into a police station and do that. I go to the police station, I give them my shit, I give them my number, I told them what happened, and then they registered it in a missing gun list, and that's what happened. And then today I got a call at 12 o'clock from some detective, and he's like, did you find your gun? I'm like, no. And he's like, all right, well, if you do, call us. Okay, thanks. So, I'm pretty liberal now because I don't have a gun. And I don't have a gun because someone at Breakmasters thought it would be a good idea to steal my gun. And, you know, we got the Oscars, the Grammys, the fucking BET Awards. We need an award show for the dumbest motherfucker because he would certainly win because he stole my gun, but he didn't even steal the magazine. He stole an empty gun with no bullets in it, no cartridge, because the gun is for emergencies. I don't even keep it loaded. I don't even have the magazine in the gun at any time. I just have it as it is. And so, yeah, that's what happened. And, yeah, I don't know. I told my boss what happened because I had to call and basically say, like, not coming into work, my gun was stolen and I'm at the police station. So she asked me today, she's like, are you going to get another gun? I don't have any plans on getting another gun because at this point, if I have a gun, I guess it has to be on me at all fucking times. And I'm not going to be fucking taking my gun in and out of my car. Maybe it'd be easier to just leave the gun unloaded in my car and take the magazine with me everywhere I go, but who gives a fuck? Like, at this point, if I fucking die, I die. God forbid I'd ever even have to use that fucking gun. But, I mean, like, dude, you stole my gun? Why? Like, why? I just don't get it. Like, it wasn't even that expensive of a gun. It was like $300. Dude, I had $100 pair of sunglasses in my car. You didn't even steal those. I just don't get it, dude. I don't get it. But then I think to myself, like, you can't try to understand an irrational person because they make irrational decisions. And this guy, I mean, he looks like he would be an extra on Breaking Bad. Not even one of the main drug dealers. One of the guys who fucking, gets caught up in some bad business during a drug dealer, and Heisenberg has got to lay the fucking law on him. That's what this guy looked like. A bald fucking narco. Not that there's anything wrong with being bald, but also you look like a drug dealer. And that's just the cards that you've been dealt. And maybe you're insecure. And maybe you think, oh man, my girlfriend, man, I see her. Sorry, let me do the accent appropriately. Hey, I mean, bro, like, oh shit, I mean, like, my girlfriend, I feel like, bro, I just come home and she's just on Instagram and she's just looking at dudes, and these dudes have fucking the longest hair, and I feel insecure. And so maybe if I come home and I go, hey, sweetie, hey, sweetheart, hey, mamacita, look at what I got. I got a gun. Oh, I'm so tough. You gonna suck my dick now, huh? I want you to suck my dick while I hold this fucking gun to your head, and I want you to say how long of hair I have, even though I'm fucking bald. That's this guy. So, and to me, it's not even about the gun. Like, I don't give a fuck that the gun. I don't give a fuck that you stole my gun. It's a gun. It's a material object. What I do give a fuck about is the fact that I have to file a police report. Like, it'd be one. Like, dude, if you stole anything else, my headphones, my sunglasses, I don't give a fuck. Like, if it's in the moment and I see you doing it, I'm gonna try and stop you. But if you're a fucking pussy ass bitch and you steal shit behind my back, I'm not even mad. You're just a fucking bitch. And you got to be the one to deal with that. And I bet your life fucking sucks because people that are like that, hey, that's the shit that they attract in their life. You're a fucking loser, dude. And I don't give a fuck. If it was anything else, if it was my sunglasses, if it was headphones, if it was a fucking watch that was worth less than $1,000 or something, I'd obviously give a shit, right? If it's like, if it has special meaning to me. But, like, I'm not going to be a fucking Karen and walk in there and go, I'm not leaving till you show me the security footage. I want to talk to every single guy who worked on my car. Man, if you're that big of a fucking loser where you steal shit from other people's cars, fuck yourself. I don't have the time, energy, or mental capacity to even give a fuck about it. But the reason the gun pisses me off is because I have to file a police report. It's not legally required, but if you've got, an inch of salt worth of intelligence in your fucking brain, you would know that they could use the gun, somehow find a way to get a magazine that fits in it by ordering it specifically for that gun, I would have to assume. And then, I don't know, murder somebody with it. And then leave the gun, and the gun is registered under my name, and I would have probable cause of being like, this is where I was at. I lost my gun. I didn't report it, but obviously I wasn't the one who fucking did it. But I would rather avoid all that shit and just go, hey, if my gun is used for some fucking crime or you sold it and the police find out somehow, the police would easily look up the gun serial number and go, this shit was reported stolen. Literally making me, what's the word? Like, brain freeze. Making me innocent of any potential wrongdoing that might have been done with the gun. So that's one thing. But the issue and the reason it bothers me too is because it's like, dude, you're there. I can't think of another word to describe the idiocy, the stupidity of this dumb motherfucker. Cause it's like, dude, this guy could use my gun, do some dumb fucking shit with it, and then he gets in trouble. And then because he has the IQ of a fucking autistic turtle, he would be like, man, I gotta kill that motherfucker. I gotta find out whose fucking gun that was, and I gotta reach out to one of my other fucking goons and do something about this guy. Because my information is available at their fucking on their system. If this guy wanted to, he could easily look my ass up, find my address, and do some pussy shit. You want to fucking fight, dude? I'll fight you, and I'll kick your fucking ass. But if you pull up with a gun, hey, I'm not bulletproof, so I can't do anything about that. And the thing about these tough guys is that they don't want to fight. They want to use knives and guns and jump you with a bunch of people. Why? Because they're pussy ass bitches. And they wouldn't want to get in a real fucking fight because guess what, dude? I'll kill you. And I won't even kill you, dude. I'll fucking get you in an armbar and I'm going to make you call me your fucking daddy at least 3 to 5 times, loud enough so I fucking hear it. Because if you don't, I'm going to break your fucking arm. And I'm going to break your fucking arm if you don't call me daddy. And the thing is that I'm going to break each and every one of your fucking limbs until you call me daddy. And that's how that's going to go down. So, but these guys don't want to do that because they're fucking pussies. So, sorry, but hey, good luck though. Good luck in your relationships. Good luck with your life. I'm sure you have a great relationship with your parents. I'm sure they're super proud of you, if they're even in your life at all, because they're probably goons just like you. So, good job. trying to be, Mr. Tough Guy, when in reality, you're as intimidating as Gru from the fucking Minions movie. So that's you. Good luck. Hey, and next time I need my fucking brakes fixed, I'm going to ask for you. And I'm going to make sure that, I don't know how, but I'm going to put some fucking, I don't know, a stink bomb or something because I'm stupid and childish like that. Because it's a fucking joke. You're a fucking joke. Your life is a joke. And, I hope that gun, yeah, dude. I hope it brings you some fucking dude. I hope you take off your shirt and look in the mirror and go, "I'm a big boy. Yeah, I stole somebody's gun. I'm a big boy. Look at me now. I hope I'm going to get all the girls. The girls are going to love me. I'm going to be in the car and I'm going to have the gun in the car and I'm going to pick up some fat fucking bitch from some bar that's dog shit and she's drunk as fuck and I'm going to fucking get her in my car and I'm going to try and hook up with her and I'm going to be in the car with her and be like, "Oh baby, you don't want to hook up with me. What if I had a gun and like you can't leave?" Ah! That's you. You fucking loser. Even Epstein was a better guy than you. I'm kidding. That was stupid. I don't mean that. But who knows? If you're dumb enough to steal somebody's car, you probably have other hobbies, and I wouldn't be surprised if some of those hobbies included, after work, just hanging out at a fucking park with some binoculars like a fucking creep, and then telling people when they point, you out, and you go, "Oh, bro, don't worry, that's my daughter. That's my son. I don't discriminate." So, I don't know, dude. I'm all for, uh, I'm all for letting people in this country. If you're a good person, or at least you try to be a good person, come on in. It'd be better if you spoke the language. I don't think that's a reason you shouldn't be in this country. Um, but I'm all for it. I'm all for immigration. I would never, ever, ever like think, damn, like you know, this person's clearly here illegally and we got to call ICE on them. I don't give a fuck, dude. You mind your business. I mind my business. God bless. You do you. Um, but hey, you know, it makes in this situation, it makes you think. If one was going to call ICE on somebody, what would be the number? Because we might have a candidate here at Breakmasters. So, anyway, 30 minutes of rambling on about this. Because I don't have a fucking therapist. I don't have anybody I can talk to. I don't have anybody that's just willing to listen to me. And you know what? I don't blame you. It's hard. It would be hard for me to also listen to somebody just talk and talk and talk and talk if it's fucking boring. And I don't have anybody that's just willing to listen to me talk. I've had girlfriends, but I've always been convinced they don't give a fuck. They're just waiting for their turn to talk because they don't ask questions. They don't ask what happened. They don't ask follow-up details. They don't give a fuck. And it seems like a lot of people don't give a fuck. So I have this podcast so that for once in my life, I can just talk, be myself, and be as silly as I fucking want. Without being interrupted for goddamn once. Or without someone like changing the subject because they don't like how I make jokes. They don't like how silly I am. They don't like how dark my humor can be. Like I only have one or two friends I can really talk to. I'm not gonna fucking call them every week or and have them listen to me ramble on for an hour. And that's what therapy is for. I've tried therapy before and I can't help but think these people don't give a fuck about me. They're being paid to listen to me. Watch me have a sponsor by Talkspace one day in the future. How funny would that be? I mean, I get it. Like, dude, if it works for you and you're cool with it and it helps you, God bless. But the last therapist I had talked about himself most of the time. And that's my fault because I would ask him a bunch of questions because I wanted to see if he really gave a fuck about me. And he took the opportunity to be, the patient and me be the therapist, which wasn't me diagnosing him or anything, but was just me listening to the guy and asking questions because maybe this is manipulative of me, but I thought to myself, man, if this guy really gives a shit about me, he'd stop my bullshit and he'd say, "All right, enough about me though. Let's talk about you." No. In the 5 therapy sessions I did, for the hour-long sessions that they were, he was talking 90% of the time. And I can't be bothered. Oh, I know they say, "Oh, find another therapist, find another therapist." Man, that was the first time I tried therapy since I was like in high school. In high school, I also tried therapy one time throughout my 4 years of high school, like with 3 different therapists at different times, with one session. And what's funny about the therapist is that, like, at least when I was in high school, they'd go, "So, what's the problem?" Like, I don't know. I just feel like I need to be in therapy. I guess I didn't have like the emotional wherewithal to be like, well, I'm depressed all the fucking time. But I don't think that's going to be fixed. Like today in my life, I'm depressed as shit. I'd never kill myself. And the thing is that like I don't need a therapist because I know why I'm depressed. I know exactly why I'm depressed. Are you fucking joking? The thing is that therapy is not going to fix my depression because my depression is a result of what my life is right now. And my life is not what I want to be living right now. So therefore, my depression is not going to be solved until my life is in the place that I would like it to be. Dude, I'm a fucking goofball McSpazatron. I like making jokes. When I have conversations with people, I just want to make jokes because that's where my brain goes. I'm not even trying to be funny. I see the humor in everything. And most people don't jive with that, man. Most people are not like that. Most people take life very seriously. They take themselves very seriously. They think they're too big to make jokes and have a silly goose time. And that's why I'm very appreciative of my friends. But I forgot what the fuck I was talking about and I forgot where I was going with that and now we're here. So, hey, it is what it is. But we're bringing it back because it's a podcast and now I'm thinking to myself, it's coming back. The thought's coming back. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to grab it out of thin fucking air and we're coming back strong. Because what I was going to say is that the issue is that because of the fact that I'm a silly fucking goofball and it's hard for me to take things seriously, I'm depressed all the fucking time because of this thing called cognitive dissonance, which is a fancy psychology term for I'm living a life that isn't how I want it to be lived. I would like to, I don't know, maybe have the child's dream of just being able to just do something like this, man. I like making people laugh. It makes me so happy to make people laugh. And having a podcast like this and being able to have it be something that I could do for a living and make money off of and not have to have a job, like, I'd fucking cry, man. I'd cry because I like it's hard, man. I'm not built. I'm not built for this fucking system. I'm a questioning motherfucker. I'm someone who wants to do things my way. I'm someone who doesn't like to be told what to do if I disagree with whatever it is that they're telling me to do. At risk of sounding cliche and cringe, I feel like an out of the box person. I feel like a black sheep. I don't feel like I really fit in. But you know, I work at a job in an office at my desk all day long from Monday through Friday from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock, but I usually get there at like 8:30 because my bosses don't get there till like 9 and they don't really care. And I've had a shitty job before. This job is not shitty by any means, by any stretch of the imagination. It's not. I have a great boss, great bosses. Um, I don't have any drama with any coworkers. Just go in, do my job, and then I go home. Rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. And I sit at my desk all day long. I don't talk to anybody at all. Nobody talks to anybody. It's just quiet. Like a stereotypical office. The lights are bright. Silence. Clicking noises. And I sit at my desk. Do my work. I keep my headphones in. And I don't even listen to music or podcasts because I can't focus. Because of what I do usually requires a lot of focus and numbers and tedious shit where I can't make any mistakes. And so I listen to some binaural beat ADHD YouTube video all day long. It's just this repetitive loop every single day. And, you know, life could be so much worse, and I know that. But I'm also not okay with just settling. Like, I have the perspective to know, like, I have a good job. I'm very lucky. I'm very, very lucky, and I'm very, very fortunate. But also, life to me is like it's like something worth like competing in against myself. Like, I think to myself, you know, I have one life. I'm very aware of how easily my life can be taken. And as time has gone on, I've seen how fast time can go by. I may be relatively young, but at least in the past 6 years, man, I've seen time fly by like in an instant. And I just I don't want to live like this for the rest of my life. And I'm afraid of being stuck in this for the rest of my life. And because I have one life and because it could all be taken away in a moment's notice, call me crazy, but I want to try to live a life that I would want to live. I know that I enjoy making people laugh. I know I like entertaining. I know I'm silly. I know I'm creative. I've made people laugh my entire life, even without trying. And I want to be able to do something with that. Because if everything else in my life is inconsistent, making people laugh has not been inconsistent. And it's easy for me. And how fucking sick would life be if I could just find a way to live my life, being able to actually just be myself. You know what I mean? Like, imagine just being able to be yourself and make money doing it. But the life that I'm living right now, I'm not being myself. There was 0 point in my entire life growing up where I'm like, dude, I want to work at a fucking office. How sick would that be to sit in the same desk, to sit at the same desk every single day, day in and day out? How fucking sick would that be? So, yeah. I'm not happy. I'm not. Because I'm not where I want to be. I'm not living the life that I want to live. And so, I started this podcast. Because I thought to myself, you know, I would love to be a stand-up comedian. But the thing is that, like, I'm not willing. Like, yeah, I want this life, but I'm not willing to move to a city where stand-up comedy is popular and, you know, do that in the same city where I work and potentially lose my job. Because if I'm going to be a comedian, like, I'm not going to have a filter. And I'd be afraid that somehow, some way it would get back to my job and I would get fired. And at the end of the day, as much as I would love to entertain people for a living, there's levels to life. And I personally feel like I need to have a stable job and then pursue these things on the side. So I started this podcast. I thought it would be a good middle ground. Because A, it's not connected to my hometown in any way. No one knows that I do this. Um, and I already thought about it. For whatever reason, this podcast blew up, or some clip of mine blew up on the internet. And God forbid I got fired. And it was between quitting my job or continuing the podcast. If one of the clips were to blow up, like really blow up to the point where somehow, some way it got back to my work, that would mean there's something here. And I would quit my job. And if it meant working at a fucking Papa John's or a fucking Breakmasters to be able to pursue this and keep doing this, then I would, because at that point I would know that we got something here. But that's why I started this podcast. Because it's an opportunity for me to just talk all the shit that crosses my mind throughout the day. Without a filter, without any sponsors. Like, here, what you see is what you get. I'm not filtering myself at all. I don't have to answer to anybody. I'm not making any money off of this fucking podcast, obviously. It's the 3rd episode. The first podcast that is out right now, the episode, of course, it, has like 2 views, and probably both of them are from me just clicking on it. So, I got nothing to lose here. So at least, I mean, if anyone was to even be watching this, because that's fucking episode 3, and if for whatever reason this podcast was going to ever blow up, the only time anyone would ever listen to this episode would be after I've done a few hundred episodes, and maybe at that point the podcast has some steam, and someone's like, I wonder what the 3rd episode was like, and then they go back and they listen to this. And it'd be a time capsule. Because right now, the situation is that this is a new podcast, no listeners, nobody's watching, nobody cares, and I work at my job. I live at home with my parents because I used to have an apartment, but I was in a relationship, and when I broke up with this girl, she lost her fucking mind, tried to stop me from leaving, stood in front of the car, accused me of hitting her, and which I didn't, needless to fucking say, obviously, or else I wouldn't say that. Would stalk me, and I didn't feel comfortable moving back to that apartment because I was afraid that she'd show up. And so I had to cancel my lease. I currently owe like 2 months worth of rent, because when you cancel a lease early, these prickholes basically are like, all right, that's fine. Give us a 30-day notice. And then after the 30 days, you still owe us 2 more months of rent. So you have to basically pay for 30 days and then 2 more months. So I don't know when this decided to be the standard, but I actually brought something for the landlord of this apartment complex. It's in my back. Hold on. I got it from Target. It's really expensive. I bought it the other day at a discount, believe it or not. So just thought I'd offer it to you in case you're listening. I'm flipping off the camera because I got this cool, very unique, colorful, exotic bird from Best Buy. And so the thing about this bird is that it's not like any bird. It doesn't have any wings. It doesn't chirp. But what it's really good for is being shoved up your fucking ass. So that's for that guy, because fuck you for doing that, especially because of the situation that I'm in. But anyway, it is what it is. I signed the lease. They told me that would happen. Sorry, I didn't think that my girlfriend would go fucking crazy, but I always had a suspicion, which is why I ended up leaving. And then also, I had money. Oh, so I guess I have had things stolen from me. What am I talking about? I'm fucking stupid. I have had things stolen from me before. I had a little safe with a couple $1,000s in it in the apartment. Needless to say, the after a month went by, I needed to clean out the apartment before I moved out. So, I go back and everything is gone, basically. The washer and dryer that I bought is gone. This really cool art piece by my favorite artist, Alex Gray, is gone, which was like $600. A fucking a vacuum cleaner, the stupid Roomba vacuum cleaner, like dumb shit like a power extension cord is gone. And the thing is that I was gonna use that money to pay off the 2 months, and when I left, I just tried to grab everything of value to my name, like my laptop, my watch that I got. Um, and I tried to grab everything and I left and I didn't grab that. I didn't grab my little case of like $2,000. So I was gonna use that because I knew, hey, I gotta pay 2 months worth of rent, which is like $2,500. And sell my washer and dryer for like $800 because I bought it for like 1,200, and I thought I'll just sell it for cheap, like it's brand new basically. And that's gone. So my point is this: I got nothing to lose. I'm taking this opportunity to at least capture a moment in time, maybe for myself looking back. Like, I can at least admit to you guys, or to myself, because probably no one's listening right now. I have like, well, I was gonna say I have like $1,300, but I really don't, because in like 2 weeks I'm gonna basically be billed for $2,500, so I'm actually in debt. Which it could be a lot worse. I understand that. Um, so all this shit, long story short, has essentially pushed me to just say fuck it. Fuck it, dude. What do I have to lose at this point? Why not start a podcast? Why not, for once, just. It might not work, it may never catch steam, but at least I'll be able to go to bed at night with that voice in my head that goes, what the fuck am I going to do with my life? How am I going to live the life that I want to live? Am I going to be stuck in this state of purgatory forever? At least that voice is a little more quiet, because at least I can go, hey, I got that podcast. And it's not guaranteed, but you know, if it was easy, everybody would do it, right? If it was easy to organize a podcast every week and edit clips and post them every week, everyone would do it. But you know, maybe now that I'm a little older, got a little more perspective, and I'm not as insecure as I used to be, and being afraid of what people would think and who would like it, who wouldn't. Like, I'm at the point now where it's like, when you have a job that you're responsible for going to every single day and paying bills, like, it kind of puts into perspective all the other shit and all the insecurity of being like, what do people think? Will people care? Like, I don't give a fuck, because, like, that's not my priority. My priority is the fact that it's almost 11 o'clock and I need to wake up early to go to work tomorrow. Not what are some goons saying on the internet about me and how fucking annoying I am or how I'm not funny. I don't give a fuck. Because at the end of the day with this podcast, What you see is what you get. This is who I am. I'm not trying to be funny. Sometimes I'll think to myself like a joke, and I'll think, I wonder if that's funny. And then I say it out loud, and then I say to myself, that was stupid. But I would have said that shit and thought that shit whether this camera or this microphone was on or off. What you see is what you get. And the difference now versus when I was younger is that I would be trying to be funny. I would be trying to be silly. And you'd watch it and listen to it and you'd go, what the fuck is going on here? And that's because you'd be listening to an insecure boy. Now, I'm not one to call myself a man, but as time is passing, we're getting there, you know, whether I like it or not. So at least a young man. You'd call me a man, maybe. I'm 26. I'll be 27 in August. So some may call me a man, some may call me a boy. Whatever the fuck you want to call me, it doesn't matter. Because it's just a title. Because at the end of the day, I am what I am. And that's why, regardless of whether this podcast is listened to or I get a following or whatever happens, I can't say that I would do anything differently. Because I at least know that when this camera is on, when this microphone is on, I'm just being myself. Maybe sometimes I'll be more serious, like this episode. Sometimes I'll be in a silly mood, which is 80% of the time. But regardless, you know, if you tune in and you're used to me being silly, and you listen to a more serious episode and you go, man, you know, that sucked. All right. I also got something from you. From Best Buy. 2 birds, bitch. Fuck you. Because I don't care. And also, yeah, I don't really care. Like, if you think it's not funny. Hey, or if you think it's not funny or you're not entertained. Like, what are you doing bitching about it on the internet, dude? Get a fucking life. Who gives a fuck? I'm sorry. Am I the only podcast in the fucking world? Like there aren't millions of them already? What are you doing sitting there bitching about me for? Take a look in the fucking mirror and think, wow, I'm leaving a comment on somebody's podcast about how not funny and entertaining they are. You fucking loser. Get a fucking life. Sorry. So, regardless, I'm doing this fucking podcast. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to talk my shit, and if it ends up finding its way back to my work somehow, and they fire me, fuck you. Because it's not about the money. Money does not provide purpose. Having a purpose provides purpose. And my purpose in life is to just do me. And if that means working at, you know, like I said, fucking a place that, you know, like a Papa John's or something, so be it. I'll fucking do it. Because if it's between working at a Papa John's and getting to pursue my passions like comedy or making music, or being in an office where I'm not allowed to do those things at all, especially comedy, which is inherent to me in my life, then I'd rather do comedy and be poor for the rest of my life. Because what's the point of living if you're just going to be trapped in a prison the whole time? It's not about the money to me. The money just would one day hopefully provide the freedom and time to be able to do these things, but I don't have the time to wait. I don't have the time to save up hundreds of thousands of dollars and then start a podcast and then be like, well, if I ever got fired, at least I have a safety net. Fuck that, dude. I'm getting older. Time's flying by. And why wait? Why wait anymore? I'm done waiting. I'm done waiting. I spent my whole life waiting, being in fear, being scared of judgment and what people would say. But at the end of the day, like, I am what I am who I am. I'm fine with who I am. And even if I wasn't fine with who I am what I am. And I can't change what I am inherently. I'm not going to pretend to be someone I'm not. I'm not going to pretend to be a serious guy. I'm not going to pretend to be a funny guy. I'm just going to be myself and everything that entails. And that's what this podcast is. So, God bless. Godspeed. And, even if this podcast just has one listener that tunes in every week, it would be worth it. Things used to bother me so much. Like, this isn't my first podcast. I talked about this in my first episode. I used to have a podcast when I was like 21. I did like 50 episodes. It was a lot different than this. I was trying to be serious. I wasn't just being myself. But I ended up deleting all of them because I had a girlfriend at the time and I was afraid that she would leave me if she saw the episodes and that she wouldn't like what I had to say. But that was the younger me. The me who would have actually given a shit. These days, if I have a girlfriend, she doesn't like what I say, hit the fucking road. Because I'm not changing myself for anybody. You either love me for me and everything that entails, or you don't. And if you're one of those girls who's with a guy and you're just trying to change them, fuck you. You're a bitch. And I feel bad for the men that stay with those girls because they're too afraid to leave. Because they hate their lives. And that girl is the only positive thing in their life. But, hey dude. You got it in you to just leave that girl. And just say, fuck it. And whatever hobby you have or whatever thing that you enjoy doing, just fucking do it, dude. Who gives a shit? You like painting? Fucking do it. You like poetry? Fucking do it. You like, I don't know, rubbing people's feet? Fucking do it, dude. Who gives a shit? Why are you going to let somebody dictate your life when you only have one life? Why? Why? It doesn't fucking matter. None of it matters. We're here. We're born. Time ticks away. Lose a little bit of hair. At some point, most of it goes gray. Wrinkles come in. Bones don't work the way they used to. Your muscles don't work the way they used to. Slowly but surely, your brain stops working the way that it used to. Your organs stop working the way that they used to. And slowly but surely, you die. We're all just slowly walking towards our graves. So, why stay with that girl? Or if a girl's listening to this, why stay with that guy? Why let somebody control your life? Why keep yourself in a box when there's a part of you, a large part of you, the real you, is trapped on the inside, telling you, let me get the fuck out of here. Why? That's why I'm unapologetic. I will always be unapologetic. If you think I'm preachy, fuck you. If you think I'm too annoying, fuck you. If you just don't like me and you can't even figure out why, Fuck you. And when I say fuck you, what I really mean, and if I was going to actually be mature, I'd say I'm sorry. I'm sorry that your life is so miserable and you hate it so much that you can't help but take that anger and pain out on everybody but the person you should be taking it out on the most, which is yourself. Because you're afraid to look at yourself in the mirror because you know that you're just disappointed with your life and you hate it and you want it to change. But you don't even know the first step to take to change it. So instead, you're a piece of shit. And that's why I say fuck you. I'm not going to say fuck you if you're trying. But if you're the culprit, if you're the fucking problem, and you refuse to think that you're the problem and choose to blame everybody else, fuck you. Very simple. This podcast is not for you. If you're somebody who takes yourself very seriously and is a judgmental person, this podcast is not for you. If you're somebody who doesn't love to just live life and be happy or find the joy in things, this podcast isn't for you. If you're somebody who's easily offended or looks for things to get upset by, this podcast is definitely not for you. This podcast is for the people that can relate. They can relate to feeling trapped. They can relate to just wanting to just laugh, not take things so seriously. Which is why, honestly, I don't have any fear or wonder if this podcast will ever, quote unquote, be successful. I know that it will. I'm confident that it will. Because I'm being real. I try to be real with myself. And I will always try and be real with you, whoever is listening or watching. And in a world riddled with frauds and fakes, real people are hard to come by. And that may sound like I'm boosting my own ego, but I don't know. It is what it is. I know who I am. I know what I am. And I know what I like. And I know the type of podcast that I would want to be listening to. And it would be something like this. And these are the type of podcasts that I listen to. I mainly listen to comedians' podcasts. And this is a place for you. I'm not a judgmental person. I'm really not. I'm only a judgmental person if you're somebody who blames everybody but yourself. Because then you're a fucking asshole. Because you're the reason that some people are too afraid to just go for it and just do it and just jump and just do the things that they want to do. Because I may not be afraid of judgment. I don't care. But a lot of people are afraid to take that leap because they do care. Because they are afraid of what people would think. Because of the people that I'm not afraid to call out and say, you're being a fucking asshole and you're a piece of shit. And you need to look in the mirror and realize that maybe it's not everybody else that's the problem. And that maybe you're the problem. And I would forgive you. It's not like I'm saying you're a piece of shit and you're always going to be a piece of shit. I've been a piece of shit. I've been super insecure. I've been a judgmental, negative person before. But that was just because I was a coward. I was afraid of being myself. I was afraid of being real. Because I didn't know what it meant to be real, because I lived in delusion. I lived in fear and insecurity. But now, I don't give a shit. I got nothing to prove. I have no one to impress. This podcast is like, I'm not trying to win anybody over. I'm just putting myself out there. And I know that it'll work. It has to. It's just a matter of time. Because the people that can relate, the people that I would probably be friends with in real life, that's who this podcast is for. And some way or another, they'll find themselves here. They'll find themselves tuning in every week. Because in their life of fakeness and inauthenticity, in their life where they aren't happy with how they're living, or where they feel like they need to be fake because it's required at work for them, this podcast is an escape. It should be a breath of fresh air where you can go, finally. Somebody who, like, right or wrong, just says what's on their mind. Like, I'm not running for fucking office any day soon. I have no reason to be political. As in, I have no reason to police what I'm saying. I have no sponsors to answer to. And for the record, if I ever did have a sponsor, I would never bend the knee to them. I would record it. I would record me telling them to go fuck themselves. If I was to do an ad read and they said, hey, can you not talk about this in your podcast, or can you not talk like this? I would literally record it. I would record me answering their email or phone call or whatever it is, telling them, go fuck yourself. Because it's not about the money. It will never be about the money. I'm not in this to get rich. I don't give a fuck about being rich. What is being rich going to get me? A jet ski? A private jet? I'm not a partier. I have no desire to go to some nightclub in Dubai. Like, all of that is just for sex. These guys just go, they spend their money just in hopes that they find some hot chick that might have sex with them. Come on, dude. I mean, if that's your life purpose, Godspeed. But that's not mine. Because one day I do want to get married. And I want my wife to be like accepting of who I am. And I take care of myself, and I know that I could imagine one day I'll have a wife that'll be beautiful. Because I take care of myself, and I would expect to find someone who takes care of themselves as well. So, I don't know. But future feels bright. When for the past 6 years, it's just felt pretty dark. But for once, we have an opportunity. This podcast is that opportunity. And I'm going to keep doing these podcasts, posting clips, and I fully 100% expect to be to ruffle some feathers. Especially as this podcast gets bigger and gains more of a following. Someone like myself, without even my desire, will end up finding myself in a position where something I've said has started to trend for the wrong reason. Because the rage mob will come in and say, how could you talk about that? How could you joke about that? What's wrong with you? Like, God, dude. Yeah, you fucking losers. Like, I could never. Like, I feel like your opinion is already immediately invalidated just by the fact that you're getting emotional about it. I don't know you. I don't know anything about you. Imagine I tuned into someone's podcast and what they said upset me so much. I went out of my way to post it on social media, say how wrong this person is. Like, you really have nothing going on. You have nothing else going on in your life. You're that miserable and you're looking for something to upset you that bad where you go out of your way to post about a show or a podcast that you don't even listen to. I can't wait. I can't wait to laugh in the future when people try and cancel me. I'm uncancelable. I already said, what are you going to do? Take away my sponsors? I'll be the first one to tell my sponsors to hit the fucking door. Hit the road. I'll be the first one. Because they'll already know who I am and how I am. And if I have sponsors and they're cool with me doing this podcast and talking my shit and being the person that I am, and then something happens and it trends and these sponsors get pressured and drop me, oh well. See you later. I'll get new sponsors. Because my group, the people that will be following me, they're not going to go anywhere. The sponsors can leave all they want. The reason they're sponsoring this show is because I'll have an audience of people, of viewers that tune in to see me. I'm the worth, not the sponsors. So you can take away the sponsors, but you can't take away my audience. You can kick me off of YouTube. And I have faith that they would follow. Because I'm real. And the people that would follow this page and tune into this podcast would be just as real. Because they're people that are not a fan of being told what they can or cannot say. Because at the end of the day, this podcast is basically just a practice of free speech. I'm going to say whatever the fuck I want to say. The worst thing that you can do is kick me off your platforms. I dare you. Because that's not going to happen without a following. And once I have the following, that's when the controversy will really start. That's when the mob will come in and try and get rid of me. Because God forbid there's somebody out there that's not afraid to just say whatever the fuck is on their mind. And that scares you. It scares you because you're afraid to do that in your daily life. There's so much that you think, so much that you think you know, and so much you want to say. So much that you think you know that you don't really know. That it terrifies you to hear somebody like me. Because you police yourself. You hall monitor yourself. And you think to yourself, well, I police myself. I put a filter on myself. It's not fair that he doesn't do the same. So because he doesn't do the same, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get rid of him. Okay. Good luck with that. Because also, God forbid, the worst possible thing happens and you have someone psycho out there that kills me. That's not going to happen for a long time. Like they say, you can kill the man, but you can't kill the idea. And so God forbid I'm ever killed. Knock on wood. At that point, I'll have a fucking huge following. So you can kill me, but you're going to start a revolution. So, good luck with that. At least that's how I feel. I could be wrong. And that's just the extreme version of it. I don't see it turning into that. But I definitely foresee controversy. I foresee someone clipping a part of a podcast and saying how wrong I am. I don't care, dude. I don't give a fuck. Like, it's funny. It's funny. It's funny to me because, like, you can't hurt me. You can even kill me and you're not going to hurt me. Not just because I'll be dead. But because my mind is impenetrable. You can say whatever you want about me. There's nothing that anybody could possibly say about me that I haven't already thought about myself or wondered about myself. It's like Conor McGregor says, you're looking at a confident man. And if you don't like me, or if however I act or talk or show myself to be, if that bothers you or makes you annoyed or even intimidated, and you feel the need to tell me that, knock yourself out. Because I know who I am. You can dislike all my videos. You can leave as many comments as you want. I don't care. Because I'm a glass half full motherfucker. You can leave as many dislikes as you want. I'll be looking at the likes. And I'll go, you motherfuckers may have not liked it. These people did. And that's who this podcast is for. I'm not doing the podcast for the people that are leaving mean comments or disliking the videos. That's life. There are billions of people in this world. You'd have to be out of your fucking mind to think that you're going to please all of them, or even the majority of them. Why do you think there are so many successful shows or podcasts or artists? Because they're different things for different people that different people like. I will find my audience and they will find me. And in the process, my content will also appear to people who won't like it. They won't like it so much that they'll leave a comment. They'll dislike the video. Shit, you could even tell me in person, I fucking hate you. You're so annoying. You're not funny. I hate your podcast. Okay. I'm sorry you're so angry. And I hope that whatever it is about your life that you're so upset about, I hope it works out for you. And I hope that one day you find your peace. And that you find yourself in a place where that fucking dark cloud is gone, man. Impenetrable, baby. I don't care. I'll make mistakes. I could say something in the future where I don't mean it. I'm not going to apologize. I'm human. As I get older, I'll always probably look back and think, yeah, I wouldn't have said it like that. Or I don't think it's funny. But I'm not going to judge myself. I'm not going to point fingers at myself and call myself stupid. Why? Why? When in that moment, that's who I was and how I was acting. Just like this episode. I don't know what it would be that I would look back and judge in terms of this episode. I mean, I could years down the line, or even in a month from now. I know I'm not going to. But if I was going to, it wouldn't be through the eyes of judgment. I would just think, yeah, that's how I felt at that moment. Like in the future, you know, I'll probably be happier. I'm not going to look back at this time period of my life and go, God, poor me. He was so sad, depressed. Why? It is what it is. Why would I look back and change anything? There's no point in doing that. So, the podcast will keep changing. I will keep changing. But one thing that won't change is whether it's episode 3, 300, or 1000. I can at least guarantee that in each one of those episodes, I'm not trying to be anybody but myself. I'm not trying to be fake. I'm not trying to be extra. I'm not trying to be more charismatic or less charismatic. In whatever given episode you're watching or listening to, in that 1 hour or hour and a half or 2 hour period that you're listening to, that's who I was in that moment. That might change. That might not change. But one thing's for certain. I'm not going to apologize. So, anyway, I'm fucking tired. And it's Wednesday. Wednesday. And, yeah, you know, we'll see what happens. But, anyway. Yeah, I'm excited. Be nice to fast forward, you know, be able to fast forward in a year, 2 years. Hope that I'm still doing the podcast and that I didn't quit. I really don't see that happening. I like, maybe in the past I would have been afraid that that would have happened, but I really am at that point now where like this is all I have. This is the only way out. I feel of this life that I live, of working my 9 to 5 job and not pursuing any hobbies or not pursuing like the thing that I really love, which is just being silly. You can call it comedy. I call it just being myself. So, but that's how it goes. We'll see what happens. But this has been the Clorox Show. I've been your host, King Clorox. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And I will catch you in the next one. Peace out.